talk about Anthem for a few minutes. So what you're supposed to do with Anthem is, according to this, there's 3 deadlines. One to be announced, which is going to be in January. And so the first one, which is Monday, the 9th, you're supposed to answer the questions over 1 through 5. It's 8 questions down to like right here. So if you want to draw a line or something. Roman numeral 5 is a V. So people don't generally do poorly on these because they don't answer them. The questions are kind of easy. The reason that they don't do well is because they aren't answering them properly. So, or they cheat. Lots of people cheat. So number 1, clearly Ayn Rand intended equality to stand out from his brothers. Explain how she accomplishes this by contrasting equality's physical qualities and character traits to those of his fellow men. Okay, so first of all, you're going to contrast his physical qualities and character traits to those of his fellow men. Okay, so what if I draw like a T-chart and I have like, he's tall, they're short, he smiles, they don't. Is that enough?
No.
Why not?
Because it's too broad. It's not enough.
Well, I mean, what's in the question that makes you think that's not enough, aside from the fact that I asked you? Okay, explain, and there's one other thing.
Explain why.
Character traits and physical qualities. He smiles, he's tall. That's just physical, not character traits. So we're looking for, like, maybe you'd have 4 things. 2 physical, 2 character traits. So you could still make a T-chart to do that part, the contrasting, but you still need to explain underneath. So you could do that in maybe 1 or 2 sentences where you don't have to write like full sentences for everything. So I'm not requiring you to write full sentences unless it asks you to. In some ways, this is more like a journal of what you're reading and understanding. So question number 2 usually tells me if you read and understand. Weirdly. Okay, and if you're listening, because I'm going to say it in a few minutes. All right, so page 4 has these questions for discussion. When we come back from the break on January the 9th, write it on here, January the 9th, January 9th, January the 9th.
We're having a class discussion.
We are.
Yeah.
So these are going to be some of the questions that you're going to be asked. So I'm going to assume that you're going to forget most of Anthem over the break. And so when we come back, we're having a graded discussion. So you can like brief for your graded discussion by reading these questions. But then you're also going to, talk to each other and think and so on before you start writing your paper. Then page 5, it's the last page. And it's designed so you can rip it off if you wanted to, write on the back of it. It says to answer the questions on a separate sheet of paper. And the reason it says that is because generally when kids answer them on here, they don't do very well because this isn't enough space. Really, there are 3 questions, but number 3 is kind of split out, so there's really 6 questions. But they're about like the whole book, like overall, the style, her style. Any questions about the packet? Okay, cool. All right. Our new class, A Dawn of Togetherness, which doesn't start until I get back. All right. I put it in quotation marks because it's corny. I think it's corny. All right. So, the Council of Scholars, which is really like TEA, has this idea. And the idea is that we've been chosen for a test school for change the way we teach, act, learn, just for Anthem. I'll show you the connection in just a minute. Actually, let me do it now. Full disclosure. Ayn Rand, the lady who wrote this, it's Ayn, not Anne, Ayn Rand. When she died, she didn't have any kids, and so she donated or something, established a trust or something. with a lot of her leftover money, well, she died, so whatever you call that, inheritance. And I think her parents were probably rich too. So anyway, she had a lot of money. So now there's this thing called the Ayn Rand Institute. I'm not sure where it is. I think it's in DC. Maybe New York, not sure. Every year, they ask me, how many books would I like? And I say, well, thank you, 150. And they send me a box like this with 150 of these books in it for free. They published for us. You can keep them. You can write in these. They're yours. And then I get 150 more next year. So they also have another book called The Fountainhead, which is, this is an exaggeration, but it's pretty big. It's roughly this size. And The Fountainhead is, they publish that for free and send it to us if we wanted it. I could order 125 of those. We don't want that, but we could. And so if I wanted to, I could apply to go to like a summer program, and they would fly me out there, and they pay my bills for the week, and they not my shopping bill, but food and hotel and everything, and they would teach me to teach the book to you the way they want it to be taught. And every year they give $2,000 away to the best essay written over Anthem to an 8th, 9th, or 10th grader. They give $10,000 to the best essay written over The Fountainhead to an 11th or 12th grader. They give, okay, so sorry, but you're probably unlikely to win the $2,000.
Yeah.
But they give like $200 prizes. So that isn't that, you might could write a $200 prize. And they started this thing in the last few years where if we submit 100 essays, like just from our school, and I have 100 students, so that should be doable. So if everybody does their stuff, so we submit 100 essays, then they will pick the best one, and that one person from our school will win $100, and then the second place will win $50, and we all get a pizza party. They pay for all that.
So we need to all.
So
And
this
then we get
lady
free
was.
So last year, Grace Crump won. We didn't have 100. We submitted 86 last year, and Grace Crump won $50, and Casey Rogers won $25, and nobody got any pizza. Kind of a dud. So, for the rest of us. So, we want some pizza. So we're gonna try and submit these essays, which means you need an electronic copy and stuff like that.
So they're
So
gonna
the-
read 100 essays?
Yeah, they do.
I would never.
I know. So my question is a little bit, why? Like
a
what?
lot of money. Because why? And time.
Why do they do all this in her name? Like, she died in 1987 or 1982. I can't remember. It's somewhere in here. So, but why do they do that? Like, what is it what's on their agenda?
Our agenda.
How they find
So,
jobs?
yeah, our agenda's pizza. That's right, and money.
Yeah.
But really,
What are they getting?
yeah.
Well, I bet
And
you
so-
have money to keep paying them.
So I think, of course, she had a lot of money, and it's invested and growing, I'm sure. But I'm thinking that she wanted to promote her philosophy and her books and her thoughts, and they're supporting that. Some of these questions that you're gonna see in the packet came from them, which is why you'll find some of the answers online.
Are they the right answer?
Some of them depends on where you look. Yeah.
Where should we?
The thing is, it sounds cultish almost, hey, come think our way. We'll provide you with all the riches of the world and pizza. Yeah.
Pizza.
So I'm a little concerned about that. So I've never gone to the class, and I've contacted teachers at other schools and said your kids win every year. Some of your kids are winning the top, the semifinals prizes. And she says, yeah, I've been to the class, and have you? And I'm like, no, I haven't. Sorry.
Just kind of in that robotic voice. I
Yeah.
went to the class. Did you?
So I'm gonna say